Good evening. Ira Epstein with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Tuesday, the 11th of June, 2024. Well, the big news of the day, Joey Chestnut. You know who he is? Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. He's been banned. And that's because he's decided to be a spokesman for Impossible Foods to plant-based food. So we're going to see the 16-time champion banned from Nathan's contest. It was a pleasure to watch him eat. I would sit there and lose my appetite watching this thing go on. It was just too funny, but it's the way it is. All right. You want to lose your appetite tomorrow, you may do it when the CPI numbers come out. That'll be jolting to the market. If it's either side of the expected numbers, and if you get my news report, I give all the expected numbers tonight in my written updates, and I'll save them for my people that I haven't sent that out to yet. If I showed it here, they wouldn't be getting what they're paying me for. And then we get the Fed. And the Fed's going to come out at 1 o'clock, and we're going to then see, okay, we know they're not going to change the interest rate policy tomorrow, but we get the dot plot, and we're going to get reactions to the CPI numbers. And I think the CPI is the big event of the day because it sets everything in play. And my guess is the Fed members already have the CPI for their vote casting on where their dot plot is. It wouldn't surprise me. If not, they'll have it certainly in the morning. And they have the morning before 1 o'clock when they finish up the statements. But generally on the first day, they get an awful lot done. And with that CPI hanging over the market, I bet they've had it. When we take a look at data that's coming out tomorrow, you got the Mortgage Market Association, you get the CPI numbers, core, regular, headline, all right here. We're going to get, for those of you that watch the grain markets and commodities as a whole, this is going to be important. You get the June supply-demand report. And this is where the market, at least recently, the USDA has been bumping up the numbers as they make May adjustments. We'll see if that follows through. Then at 1 o'clock, the FOMC comes out with the dot plot and the press conference. Now remember the yin-yang. Because this all takes place, the press conference about 1:20 and lasts 2 o'clock, think of what time it is in Asia. Those people are sleeping, most people. Then they wake up and react. And in Europe, you know, it's already at that point for some areas 9 o'clock at night. You know, it's 5 to 7 hours, depending where in Europe you're at. So that's very important. And you get the yin-yang. As we finish one way, the markets wake up, they start reacting, and it comes all the way back to you. If the numbers are askew, all right? And we certainly saw that all happen, right, with the jobs report that took place this past Friday. I mean, that was a shocker of a report. We get the Treasury Department for their 2024 outlays and receipts at 1 o'clock. API, we've already seen the first set of numbers. It was a decline bigger than the market was looking for. And we get the EIA numbers. And today we did have the battle come out between OPEC and the EIA talking about the energies. And OPEC still sees the second part of this year and next year stronger demand. And the EIA doesn't disagree, but they see U.S. production ramping up to meet that demand. Interesting number time. All right. So as we look at all this today, pretty interesting day. NVIDIA just holding here in the 120 area. You know, you've had a lot of people now that you've had the 10-for-1 split. They wanted to take something off, they did. Tesla got beat up today. Came back at the end of the day, almost $3 off the lows, but getting beat up in front of the vote that's coming out. Which way is that going to go in the market? ARK sitting here, 44. Now, I want to remind you, if you want me to follow anything, write me on my YouTube channel. Okay, and as you do that, I look at it, and if I pick your part to go with, then you get a gift from me, and I'll write you back right there and how to call us and everything, and I think you'll like what you get. Microsoft up another 4, but today Amazon was one of the stellar markets. Or was it? Well, it came up, didn't really do an awful lot, but it certainly came alive. GameStop was in play again today. AMC following suit, up 50 cents with that today. Interesting day. GM, you know, they did another $6 billion buyback. You heard that. And today they were up a little bit as they did come out and they said that the car sales, the electric vehicles will be down again. Probably in America, maybe 8% of total sales are what the EVs are. But they made it clear it's not falling. It's there. It just takes time for the American public to adopt this. We are not Europe and other places that have wrapped their arms around it. Getting the break that I've wanted in Boeing, I want to see it drop even more than this so I can talk to clients about the potential there to come in. Now, is this going to be a market with a wedge? Just think of this. If you drew down a line and you drew a bottom here, you got a wedge. Is it going to break out to the upside or through these lows into a new down part? That's what we're waiting to see in SMCI, the super micro computer. You're not getting any help from the swing line. You got a higher high and a lower low at work. Your moving average, you just had a bearish crossover. The 18-day average just got underneath the 100. That's bearish into the marketplace, opening the door up for the potential, and the word is potential if it drops here, of at least 72, 728.37 should the market decide to go down. When we look at the momentum, you're oversold, not embedded. You're trying to get there. The first day where both numbers were under 20, I think was today. No, yesterday. So one more day of it, because you didn't do the day before, then you embed. Then I feel very comfortable saying to you, hey, I think we're going to go down. Tomorrow's the day that I need to get under my belt. And frankly, markets more times than not don't embed. Then we get to PDBC, which will be impacted tomorrow by the USDA grain report. So keep your eye on that. It comes out at 11 o'clock, and the weighting in this most certainly will impact the market. But you know the metals are going to be a big part of how they react to CPI. You're going to get the same thing probably out of the energy market. So big day for this. We'll see which way it wants to go. At this time, you're getting a bear market rally, a lot of resistance at 1410, the combination of the 18 and 200-day average right staring you in the face for a resistance point. In Tesla, you've worked your way back down to the lower Bollinger Band in an oversold condition. I wouldn't be surprised if the shorts were covering here, and now they'll go to the sideline and wait to see how the vote is. What's going to happen? And, you know, I was thinking about it. Any way this vote goes, there might be a lawsuit to not let it go through, no matter which way it goes. Nothing will surprise me. The lawyers are all over this. They smell blood. Blood being a lot of money they can get in legal fees, and they're not going to go away. Just look at the fees that have been generated in the lawsuits over them. We're talking in billions. We're not talking millions of dollars. Billions already on this. FCX, notice how the Bollinger Band running down here. And it fell apart. I said, Freeport is down here on the Bollinger Band is how I meant to say it. And you've got to learn to work with Bollinger Bands, the importance of this. You are oversold. You're running that. You bounce, you run, you bounce. Now, the new CEOs had a conversation today that I was reading, I think it was CNBC, and talking about her way that she foresees Freeport growth. And it's amazing. They get all this metal. They can get all this metal out of their mines, their existing mine, but they can't capture it the way they used to. And they have, Freeport, have developed methods to do it. They're already capturing now 200,000 metric tons a year. She thinks it will go up to 800,000 metric tons in the next 2 years. That's big money. And instead of buying other competitors, they think they can grow their mines just what they have, very comfortably to meet the demand. When asked about prices, well, they go up, they go down. What can you say? In U.S. gasoline fund, all right, we'll probably get a rally to carry to the 18-day average. It's the first bear market rally. No, you've done these a couple of times, and they've all failed at the 18-day average. So until they can prove that they can do more, we'll see what it does as it gets up there. But because it's under the 18-day average, I have a bearish bias. Just like here, Notice how the market has stayed under the 18-day average. So as long as you do that and you use my filter that when you're under that, you're not looking to be a buyer. You're looking, if anything, if you get short signals to take them. That's one thing. Some people don't play the short side at all. I get it. But it still keeps you away from being a buyer when you shouldn't be in there. In XLI, it's the same thing. You're in a downtrend. You are oversold. You're fighting a battle at the 100-day average. Can you get away from that is going to be the big question. Rivian, you're into the key resistance of the 100-day average in the Bollinger Band in an overbought market. A lot of sideways action that the markets come out to the upside on for a change. In the home builders, well, what are interest rates going to do off what the Fed says tomorrow? That'll probably be how XHB moves. First, it'll move probably off the CPI number because that could be a nail in the coffin. They're not ready to move on rates. Or it could be where you take your hammer, you pull the nail out, and you go, we've broken the back of this baby, throw the board away, and this market starts getting a pop because of it. It's going to be impacted one way or the other. Energy markets, I'm not seeing the big rally news here. This is still a bear market in the sense that it's under the 18-day average, but the swing line is pointing up, and it's laboring to get up to the 18-day average. Not sure it can do it. In the gold market, as long as you stay under the red line, maintain a bearish attitude into the gold market. Would I be bearish or bullish tomorrow into the CPI? You can count on it, no. This is a day where I put my hands in my pocket and I say to traders, hey, whatever you own right now, protect that. After 7:30, we get a new look. Markets won't be open for us anyways, and I'll be putting out my morning update right after 9. And the FOMC, I'm not as worried about the FOMC as I am CPI. The CPI will dictate what the Fed's going to do in parts of the dot plot. So I think it'll be an after event, is my guess on it. SLV still in a downtrend, could reach for the lower Bollinger Band, but getting oversold. Copper, the same thing, still in a bearish mode. It completely fell apart at 52.59 and has gone back down rather dramatically, $8. So the market's had a heck of a break here, you know, certainly in the neighborhood of what? About 15, 17%, getting to the point where it's probably getting ready to find support between there and the 42.22 area, if it reaches there. I would give up on trying to guess what's going to happen on TLT or BND or the dollar index or the euro for tomorrow. I don't think it makes sense. I think that these are markets you sit back from, let the CPI come out, then we'll talk about this. And I will be at 8 in the morning there with you. But for those of you that want to learn this Bollinger Band information the way that I do it with these charts right behind me, it's so simple. After this, you're going to see an ad for it. There's an icon if you move your cursor up here. And you can go in. It's a great Father's Day gift to give to somebody. And it's not something they're going to sit in a drawer. They're going to take it out and they're going to go, you know, I'm still looking at that. And that's what I want to happen. So consider it. I'm Ira Epstein. You have yourself a great evening. I will see you first thing in the morning. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time, and on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.